Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 28th of July 2024. So obviously the Olympics are on at the moment. Now I'm not going to watch any of it. I've never watched it really, just never been my kind of thing, and therefore I won't be watching it this time. So I don't know too much about it, although I do understand that in common with a lot of these things these days, the opening ceremony was an absolute basket case, a Satan fest basically, is how I understand it. So just another reason why I wouldn't support that thing, but like I say, it's never been my thing anyway, so I won't be watching any of it, and I'll be watching other things instead. And in fact, last night we watched, not for the first time, maybe for the second or third time, the film The Pianist, which I'm sure most people have watched this. It's been around for best part of 20 years now, believe it or not. But it's a brilliant film, very, very captivating. And if you don't know the film, it's basically set in Warsaw, Polish capital, during the Second World War. So it obviously had a very, very sad time. And the central character is this guy who was a famous pianist, appeared on sort of radio shows and things pre-war. But then when the war came, because he was in the unfortunate position of not only being Polish, who the Nazis hated anyway, but he was also Jewish as well. So of course he was sort of doubly hated, and he kind of underwent all of the horrendousness that those people suffered, was put into the ghetto first of all, and then when that was sort of done away with, he miraculously escaped having to go to a camp, but he kind of lived off his wits and had some help, and basically got to the end of the war sort of more or less alive. So it's an amazing story, and when you see that kind of story, it really does put things into perspective. If we thought our lives were crazy and things now were sort of mad and really, really horrible and evil, obviously we had it very, very easy in comparison to what they had kind of 80 years ago. So an absolutely an amazing film to sort of just put things into perspective a little bit. But one thing that struck me is that when I was watching that film, is the thing about authoritarian regimes, totalitarian regimes, it seems to give people an excuse to act like an absolute animal. It just gives carte blanche for anyone who wants to, as long as they kind of support the regime. That's as long as you support us, that's brilliant. Now just go out and do what you want, really. And if you want to act like an absolute obnoxious animal, you can do so. And you saw plenty of examples of that. Probably the worst example in that film was this Nazi. He was basically there stopping a work detail, sort of as they kind of marched off somewhere, and he went along and picked out half a dozen of them, made them lie on the ground, and then he walked along the line just shooting each one in the head, and then he just sort of went off and left all of these dead people there. And I'm afraid any kind of totalitarianism, that is what you get. You get these people, these narcissists and psychopaths, and it enables them to live out their sick fantasies, basically. And that is why I am so against any form of tyranny and totalitarianism, no matter how muted it is. Now, what we had Some people would argue even now and going forward, but certainly a few years ago, although it didn't get obviously anywhere as bad as what those people endured during the Second World War, the warning signs were there, and I think had things carried on, things could well have degenerated. We saw the beginnings of it, didn't we? We saw the Karens calling out people, coming out of the woodwork, showing their true nature, very, very happy to shop their neighbours to the authorities if they were breaking certain rules. People in their sort of uniforms of high-vis, etc., telling you what you could or couldn't do as you walked into the supermarket and all of that kind of thing. And the people who manned certain centres, whether it was things up the nose or things in the arm. And these enablers were just the same kind of people as these people that I kind of was watching last night in that film. And if you think that's a bit extreme, believe you me, it's not. When tyranny and authoritarianism takes hold, it starts off mildly. I mean, obviously we didn't get to the stage anywhere near it as what happened 80 years ago, but had things taken hold, carried on, continued, who knows, it could well have got to that stage. So these are the reasons why I kind of keep making these videos, keep calling things out. I will not see tyranny and authoritarianism and totalitarianism in this country. I just simply will not see the erosion of our freedoms, and I am so passionate about it because of what I'm reminded of when I see films like The Pianist. That is literally where things can go if tyranny is given a free hand. And like the memes said and the stickers said, you cannot comply your way out of tyranny. Once it takes hold, all that ever happens is it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. So just going to leave it there. And if you want to avoid watching the Olympics like I do, and you've got to spare 2.5 hours, it's quite a long film. I can highly recommend The Pianist, even if you've seen it before. If it's been a few years since you've seen it, why not check it out again? Very powerful film. Acting in it is superb, and it's a very poignant story. And like all of these kind of Holocaust stories, there's a lesson from history that we can all learn from. And when we see even the tiniest shoots of it starting to emerge, you need to grab those horrible weeds and pull them out before they can get too strong and lead to the inevitable conclusion that tyrannical regimes always seem to lead to. So I'm proud to say we actually managed to do that ourselves, us in the freedom movement. We kind of nipped it in the bud before it could get out of hand, and we just need to carry on with that. And if the government or anyone else decides they want to try it on again, we will be back here with our kind of calling out of it, and we will be saying, sorry, we just do not comply. You can't comply your way out of tyranny, so therefore we just do not comply. So with that, I'm going to leave it, and I'll be back soon. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.